What's up, guys? Fresh out of college, our first episode premiere. I'm Drew Campbell. I'm joined with the one and only Ryota. We are recent grads from the University of Puget Sound. Just wanted to talk sports.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? What's up, Drew? We're your hosts, and every week we're going to dive into the latest sports and pop culture topics. We're going to have some heated discussions, some funny moments, and prolonged awkward silence.
Oh yeah. So for the day's rundown, we'll discuss the recent developments that the Yankees have in terms of the cheating that might have occurred in 2015, 2016, and 2017. We'll also we'll talk about the Astros and the Boston Red Sox and discuss more about how this has hit the MLB and the reputation that it has. And then we'll also discuss about the NBA because they are returning July 30th, hopefully. But we'll talk more about how players are hesitant to return, and rightfully so. But what this means in the future for financially and for the fans' perspectives if the NBA does not come back at the scheduled time. So yeah, let's just sit back and jump right into Fresh Out of College.
Okay, welcome back, Fresh Out of College fans. To start off, we're going to do a lot of weekly segments that you're going to see that are really familiar from week to week. So to start off, we're going to do Drew's Performer of the Week. Who do you have, Drew?
Yeah, so I'm going to give Ryota a few hints, but basically he's going to have to guess this player, and then I'm going to give him this individual kind of a goal to reach for the next game. So yeah, I will obviously give you the sport, Ryota, but the first hint, if you get this, it will be unbelievable and you'll know your sports. So usually you don't get on the first try, but all right, here we go. This is NBA.
Okay.
This guy is 6'7", 222 pounds, shooting guard, small forward, and he went to Porter God High School in South Carolina. Do you know him?
I don't get a college?
Nope, not a college, not on the first take. But
those are the only hints I get.
6'7",
or do I get more?
220. Yeah, you'll get.
Oh, okay. So 6'7", 220, shooting guard, small forward.
Yeah, he's played shooting guard, small forward.
Yeah, next hint. I have no idea.
Okay. He went to Texas A&M and was drafted in the second round in the 2012 draft.
A&M in 2012 draft?
Yeah.
So he's been in the league for about 8 years.
Second round pick.
I don't know my A&M players.
Okay. Was traded along with Brandon Knight in 2013, so 1 year out. So he played his rookie year from the Pistons to another Eastern Conference team. So he's traded with Brandon Knight in 2013. He played 1 year with the Pistons, and he was traded to another Eastern Conference team.
You were giving me a really tough one for the first episode. I have no idea. Do I have another hint, or is that it?
Yeah, you have two more hints. Okay.
Oh, okay.
The last 2 seasons, he has been named an All-Star.
He's been named an All-Star.
So he's been, named an All-Star the last 2 years.
Chris Middleton.
Yep, there you go.
Wow, I didn't. That was a total guess.
But do you want to know my other hint?
That was a good guess.
Do you want to know my other hint?
Yeah.
He has 2 pairs of siblings on the team because Brock and Robin Lopez, and then Giannis and Donnie. Yeah. And then I was going to say his mascot was an animal. But okay, yeah. So now I'm going to give Chris Middleton a stat. So I think first game back, I think he'll put up 30 points. He averages around 22, okay?
Yeah.
8 rebounds. I know Giannis might steal a lot of them, but maybe this will be it.
I didn't realize he had that many rebounds.
Drew's going to give him a big game. And then he'll make 5 3-pointers. So
I could see for sure.
So 30 points, 8 rebounds, 5 3-pointers, and the Bucks win. All right. Yeah. So now we'll go on to Ryota's segment of the week. This is he's going to give us a world record hunt and just share some more pop culture about it, something that we don't know.
Yeah, this one I found happens to be kind of sport related. Really cool fact, I think, or a really cool record. So this is go back to 1954 in England at Oxford University. So a student wanted to run a mile under 4 minutes.
Oh, there you go.
So he ran a 3:59:04. And this is 1954 we're talking. This is a while back.
This is yeah.
But after that, some other people broke the record. They tried and they did it. But he was the first to do a sub 4 minute mile, which I think is crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. I think when I was in prime shape, which was like what, 10 years ago now, I think I think I could run a 7, or maybe
Yeah, like I remember when
but
we had to run in middle school for PE.
yeah,
Like I think 7 was good. I
yeah,
remember someone in our class could run like a 6:30 and we were in awe.
yeah.
But 4 minutes, that's like
Do
right
you know
now
how
I'd probably
how
run
old he
double
was?
that in a mile.
Do you know how old he was, or what
I
his
think
age
he
was?
was in I think he was doing med school or pre-med. So he was
Okay,
probably around our age.
okay,
But he went to Oxford, I think.
nice.
Oh, I forgot his name, Sir Roger
Yeah,
Bannister. He was the
I didn't
first
give
to
him
do
his
the
credit.
sub 4 minute mile.
That's crazy.
I don't know. I'm sure people could do that now if they really tried. Um,
Well,
but I
well,
mean, obviously he trained for it. Like that was a goal he set, and he trained for it. So it's not like he just did it out of, you
yeah,
know,
I would definitely pull a hamstring.
yeah,
All right, so our next segment is going to be, are they worth it? Do you want to talk about it?
yeah. So are they worth it? It's going to be a segment where we talk about, player contracts, player trades, and just kind of discuss whether it was worth it. Just what it,
Yeah,
the
if they're
segment
worth the
title sounds
money,
like.
if they're not.
Yeah. So
So
Drew, who do you have?
the first person on the docket is Dalvin Cook. Um, he he this will be so in 2021 he'll be a free agent, and he'll be 26-year-old at that time, and he's prepared to hold out this season though, to get
Right.
his contract, because I think he's only going to make 1.3 million. I think he's still in his rookie contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and he wants, from reports, he wants around 16 million, maybe a little bit under now, but that's close to CMC money.
Yeah. When did
Um,
CMC get his deal? Last season?
yeah, last season I believe it was 4 years, 64
No, yeah,
million.
it was a big one. I can't remember the top of
There's
my head, but it was a big
16
one.
million annually though. Um, but the Vikings came back with an offer of, a little less than 10 million, so
Hmm.
single digits,
Okay.
and they're kind of at a standstill.
Hmm.
So we're going to just discuss: is he worth the money? Do you think he is worth Christian McCaffrey money, 16 million?
I was looking at some of the stats.
Mhm.
So this is from 2019.
Yeah,
So Dalvin Cook
last year.
was 10th
Okay.
among running backs in total yards or I think rushing yards.
Uh,
But he was also out for 2
2
weeks.
games. Yeah, he was
Two
out for 2
weeks.
games.
He was fourth in touchdowns with 13, which makes sense because the Vikings tend to tend to run
Yeah,
when they don't go to Thielen. Um,
or Diggs.
or Diggs. Well, Diggs is gone though, right?
Diggs will be gone this year, so
I think
maybe he
that's a
is worth
good
it.
thing for the Vikings. That was a whole drama. Yeah, it was just a bunch of drama. But
He was talented
CMC
though. Yeah.
third in rushing with 1387, and he had
Hmm.
15 TDs. But just when you look at those two from looking at comparing those two, I think CMC is a totally different tier.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know
I
what
would
you
agree.
think, but
I will. Durability has definitely been an issue
yes, it's a huge issue.
for Cook. I mean, in 2017, he only played 4 games and then he
Yeah,
tore his ACL.
yeah.
I believe in 2018 he had a lingering hamstring injury, which he
Yeah, something
missed
like that.
5 games or something. Um, and also the fact that in this season, like you said, in 2019, he missed 2 games, but then again, he also missed a playoff game, which
Yeah, I forgot about
uh,
that.
the wild card game, against the Saints. But we all know the Saints never have luck in
Yeah.
the playoff
Do
game.
the
So
Vikings still have Latavius Murray?
they do not.
Oh, okay. So
They
they
have
definitely need to run.
they have Madison though, which is a highly, ranked, backup, and who was
Oh,
going
right, right,
to,
right, right. That's right.
yeah, Alexander Madison,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which he is good and he has potential.
Yeah, he
So
had he
I
had
also
good games when Dalvin was injured.
He did. He was also a little bit injury prone, but I do
Mm.
think this just does not help, Cook's leverage at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do think so. Looking at the market in general,
Mm-hmm.
we have Christian McCaffrey getting 16 million.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he fits that tier just because he's not as
No, he's
utilized in
not.
the passing
He's
game.
not. No.
And Christian McCaffrey is just a Jetterberg, and he is
Yeah,
one of the top or the top best running
I
backs. Then you
agree.
have Zeke at
Yes.
15 million, I think, this year. And he hasn't missed a game due to
Hmm.
injury.
He's been a
And he's
workhorse.
accumulated over 1,200 yards, all-purpose yards throughout his career.
Yeah.
Um, so I think Cook could get 13 million. I
Really?
think he might end up getting 11 million. But I don't think he should hold out. Um, when running backs have hit the free agency market,
Hmm.
they're recently they have got nothing more than 10 million. I think the
Yeah, that's
market is
true.
for running backs 8 million. I know
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon this year got 8 million for the
Hmm.
Broncos.
Hmm.
I know Todd Gurley got 5.5 million
Yeah.
for Atlanta.
Yeah.
Mark Ingram, who had a great year, got 5 million.
Yeah.
There's just it's not the market isn't great there. So
Yeah, that's true.
if Cook wants to be the out to be that one person to get
Hmm.
more than 10 million, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think he should hold out. But he is a great player. He led my fantasy team
Yeah.
to the playoffs and to the win. So I'm forever in debt to him. But I think there should be a compromise at least. I don't think he's going to get 16
Yeah.
million. I don't think he's going to get
No, I
15
don't
million.
think he's going to even get close. I think it's going to be the low double digits.
Yeah.
He's
I
just he's
or
just on a totally different tier,
well
I think, with Zeke and CMC and Saquon. Like
yeah.
I think
I could
I think I think he should be happy with 12. I mean,
yeah.
setting a goal for
Oh, of
60
course.
million is always good.
Yeah.
You're gonna bargain and
Yeah.
but yeah, I think I think the max he's gonna get is 12 for me. I don't think he gets anything more than that.
No, I agree with you. I think 12 million is that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean, we know the Vikings like to run the ball, but
Mhm.
yeah. All right. So, and then another segment we have is refreshing our short-term memory. And this is basically just a recap of what happened last week to the audience and also to us, just so we can get back on current events. So, what happened during last week, Ryota?
Yeah, so one of the big things was MLB draft, which we
Hmm.
watched really closely and did a lot of research on. Um, but especially because we're Mariner fans and we had the sixth pick, which was a really big deal for us. Um, but yeah, Drew, do you want to talk a little bit about some of those stats you were looking at?
Yeah, yeah. First of all, there was only 5 rounds compared to 40 rounds usually in the MLB draft. So 5 rounds was cut short just due to COVID and the whole financial situation, which I think is a huge loss for some of these players.
Yeah,
Because like we know that like in the MLB, it's not like the NBA or NFL where a first round pick is automatically going to become a superstar.
yeah,
Usually the gems are found later in the rounds. Um, so cutting that down to only 5 is crazy. And I think a lot of these high school players will probably see themselves going back to college
hmm,
just because I don't know they can't get there's more incentive now to go back to college than anything else.
yeah, definitely.
Um, what I found interesting was the number one drafted pick, Spencer Torkelson, was the second first baseman to be drafted first overall, right behind Adrian Gonzalez in 2000,
That's a long time ago if you think about
2000
it.
against with the Marlins.
Hmm.
So that in itself is a big accomplishment. The first high school player was drafted 8th this year, and that was the longest stint to go in MLB history. I think the last person to be drafted out of high school was 7th, and I think that was in 2008. And then, yeah, that high school player, Robert Hassel III, just to bring everything, long story short, played in the 2014 Little World Series, um, and his team ended up actually losing to um, Mona Davis's team, who was the first Little League World Series pitcher to be a girl. So pretty
Right.
cool.
Yeah, I think I
Pretty
saw
world.
an Instagram story on that.
Yeah.
I think he struck out.
Did he actually?
Yeah.
Well, he
But
made it
he
to the
but he,
league.
he seemed like a really good guy. He gave a lot of props to her.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I think she's in high school right now playing softball. So it'll be exciting to see where she goes. I mean,
Exactly.
pretty
Yeah.
soon.
I think
So
I think she was thinking about doing basketball too,
yeah, she was
but
like a two-way
she was definitely
athlete.
multi-sport.
So
So
that's
pretty
something we can
cool.
follow up with later. Yeah.
Pretty cool and interesting thing. It's also interesting that I mean NBA and football you have to go college 3 years, maybe just
Hmm.
1 year for college, but these high school players just come straight out and then they're in the league making millions. So Do you
Yeah.
have any insight more on like the draft and like any players we
Yeah.
should?
Yeah. I mean, I can review some of like the top six because the Mariners are six. We always have to
Oh
cover
yeah,
that.
of course.
But yeah, talking about the first pick, Spencer Torkelson.
Mm.
He's I don't know if you saw some of his videos, but he can hit. And I saw a video comparing Trout and Torkelson's swing. It's
Oh
pretty
really?
similar,
No way.
which is pretty cool. So I think um, the Tigers are really happy with that pick. He's probably going to end up at first base. They listed him as third baseman. He's probably going to be a first baseman. His gloves, it's decent, but I think it's just bad. Obviously, I
Yeah,
don't think he's as athletic as Trout, but the swing and the power, it's there.
low ball
Um,
handle probably.
and obviously, I mean, he went to college, so we'll probably see his name sooner rather than
That's
later
true.
compared to a high
That is
school
true.
guy. So that could be pretty cool.
I do.
Second guy, Heston Kjerstad.
Kirstead, yeah.
Um, where was he? Went to Arkansas, right?
He went to Alabama.
Alabama. But he
That was
went
a
to the
surprise pick,
Orioles.
right?
Yeah, I had him like in the eighth, ninth area for an
Mhm.
outfielder because he was an outfielder mix and there was like Garrett Mitchell and Zach Veen from high school. But Heston was the first to go. He's got a good bat. That's why they like him. So
Yeah.
number 1 and 2 pick, they're going for the bat.
Yeah.
Decent athlete. He can run. I see him as like a Kobe Rasmus kind of swing.
Okay.
But I mean, he went
That's
number 2
definitely an
for a
interesting
reason.
pick though, because you had the shortstop out of Andy
Exactly. Austin
Gilmore.
Martin, I thought was
Yeah.
going to go number 2, which I'll go back to later for the Blue Jay pick. But I think, yeah, I thought Martin was going to go 2 for sure, but Orioles surprised us, and we'll see. We'll see
Oh
how that
gosh.
goes. The number 3 pick, Max Meyer, I'm a huge fan of.
Really?
He's not the biggest guy. I think I told you about him. He's kind of like a Marcus Stroman build,
Okay.
but he touches triple digits. He can touch 100. Um, Out of U of M, Minnesota. The Marlins got him. I thought he was also going to fall. I think we kind of thought Asa Lacy was going to go before him, but Max Meyer went third, and he's got good stuff. I don't know if he's going to, be a starter for the long term, but he's got a slider that's absolutely nasty,
But
and he
wouldn't you
throws
want to
hard.
pick?
So
Wouldn't you want to pick, especially in the top like five, a rotation player, like a top of the line?
well, I
Or
mean, I think people thought about that Marcus Stroman, right? They didn't think he could last, but
yeah, that's true.
he's had a couple good years. I mean, not as great anymore, but he's still, rotation guy, can throw 6 innings, a couple strikeouts.
Yeah, that's
Max
true.
Meyer, we'll see. He's a competitor, and when you have that mindset, it can go a long ways. So we'll see. The next guy, also Lacy. I thought he was supposedly the number 1 pitcher to go in the league,
Hmm.
sorry, for the draft. Kind of like a John Lester with a really good breaking ball, a little bit harder fastball, out of A&M. I think he's a good pick. I think a lot of people really like him, which I'm
Yeah, he's
surprised he went after Meyer.
a lefty, kind of like James Paxton velocity
Yeah,
velo.
yeah,
Definitely.
exactly. Yeah, he's got a good curveball too. Not as good as Paxton, but pretty good. The next guy who you already mentioned, Austin Martin. I thought he was a
Yeah.
number 2. I don't know about you.
I mean, I was definitely surprised when Baltimore didn't pick him second, and then I
Yeah,
really thought there's no way the Mariners are going to grab him, and then they didn't
I
because
know, 1 pick
Toronto
before.
got him.
I mean, he's just such a cool example because he's a utility player. He played third base last year, Vandy. Or no, sorry, center field. But the year before that, he played third. But I guess he got listed as a shortstop, right, in the draft. So he
Yeah.
can play anywhere. Um, he's not a power hitter per se, but he's
Okay.
just a solid, athletic, baseball savvy. I mean, Dansby Swanson comparison kind of guy. I
He's
don't
got,
know. Do you think Dansby's going to be?
oh, I love Dansby. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
do
he's a
think.
good fielder, but do you think he's going to be an all-star? I mean, I hope so. I really like
Okay.
him, but
Yeah. I mean,
he hasn't
I think
really
he gets a
hit
little bit overshadowed
well.
because they have Acuna, and you know,
That's a good point.
so
Acuna is
there's also
crazy.
that. Like, you can still be a valuable player,
Yeah.
but
How
you get a little
old do
bit
you think Dansby?
overshadowed. Just
Because Dansby got drafted what 4 years ago?
3 years ago, I believe. I
Okay,
think
so
he
he's
was with
still
the
really
Alex
young
Bregman
then.
draft,
Right, right, right.
or maybe it was it was 3 years ago. I think because yeah, we'll have people
We'll
fact
hope
check this.
Dansby turns around because we like Dansby and Austin Martin. I think will be really good, but I'm kind of
Yeah,
bummed the Mariners didn't get him.
yeah. But
You
who
want to
else
talk
did we get?
about? You want to talk
Yeah,
about the Mariner pick?
yeah.
Just a little
Hancock.
bit.
All I know is I trust Dipoto. Let's go. Pitching,
Yeah.
everything. Can't have anything less than pitching.
Yeah, I mean, he went with a power arm and Emerson Hancock. I watched some video. He's pretty good. His changeup's okay. Slider's pretty. Sorry, his changeup's good. His slider's
Okay.
okay. He gets strikeouts, but doesn't move as much. But he, I don't know. They were saying like his injury was like a problem, but I
Mm,
looked at the stats after he came back from his injury. He
yeah.
went 2-0 and had a 2.75 ERA.
Nice.
That
That's
sounds good
exactly
to
right.
me. I guess they just thought, oh, it wasn't his 1.5 ERA from last year. So
Do you think he fits into the Mariners like top pitcher prospect?
I think so. Oh,
Overtakes.
well, I mean, we have so many good pitchers right now on our
Yeah.
farm right now. I don't know. It'll kind of depend on his first year in the minors.
Well, yeah, we'll get back into it, but
Yeah.
maybe the Miners won't even play. Baseball is having a difficulty.
Yeah, so he might
Um,
have a postponed bullpen session
yeah,
kind of thing. But I mean, he's out of college, which means we'll see him sooner.
that's
Which is
true.
another cool
That is
thing. We don't
true.
have to wait for Alex Jackson to turn 22 and finally play
Trade
and
him.
realize that he's not that good anymore.
Yeah, but
Anyways,
it's a good time to be a Mariner fan just because we're so hopeful. But
I know
it's
we've
so
been waiting
tough.
for a long time. It's starting
All
to
right,
test my
so
patience. Okay,
we're gonna give a week. Yeah,
the next thing, forecast for the weekend,
yeah.
and Drew's gonna start.
So June 19th, this Friday, is Juneteenth. Juneteenth is also known as Freedom Day, and this day marks the anniversary of the last Confederate state to enact the Emancipation Proclamation to end slavery. It's a day to celebrate African American freedom and achievement while encouraging self growth and self development. So um, during this time, I think it is especially important to celebrate it. So everybody look out for that. And yeah, Nike and two other companies just recently um, dropped that they are going to hold Freedom Day as a national or a company holiday for employees.
Pretty
So
cool. That's
that's a great stance there. And then the next day, June 20th, is the first day of summer. So got to get the summer
Ooh.
bodies going, even though we're in quarantine.
Okay. Next, I mean, this week's action packed actually with a lot of non-sports related things. June
Mhm.
21st. If you don't know by now, I don't know what you're doing. It's Father's Day, so don't forget to do something for your father, even when you're in quarantine. Some tips from Drew and I. Things you can do: take out from restaurants. It's
Yeah,
a pretty good last minute gift.
exactly.
You can always cook if you want to, but I prefer taking out from restaurants. This might be a cool way to celebrate. Also, recommendation: if you want to buy something, I hope you bought it by now because shipping might take a while.
That's true.
I feel like I'm just roasting people at this point now. I'm not even giving tips.
Well, you give them tips, and also you give me the motivation too.
That's true.
It's great.
Um, Last thing. So starting yesterday,
Mm.
Wednesday, English Premier League started,
Oh, EPL.
and it's going to continue through this week. It's going to kind of do it by day to day, a couple of games a day. But really cool thing. For the first 12 games of the league, they are going to be wearing Black Lives Matter on their back of their jersey instead of where their last name usually goes.
That's
So
really
just another
cool.
cool, movement that we see across the world. It's not only the United States that's,
Yeah,
trying to fight this movement, or not fight, encourage this movement,
of
and fight
course.
racial
Yeah,
injustice. So really cool.
I think it is really cool because we can see everybody come together, and hopefully, this will lead to actual change, and
Yeah.
um, we're all for it. And I think sports is a great way to bring people together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess didn't Kevin Durant just buy an MLS team?
Yeah. So
Speaking
yeah,
of
speaking
MLS
of
or
that, yeah,
street
that's another
soccer.
cool thing. I think Kevin Durant is a minority owner of the Philadelphia Union, MLS team in Philadelphia. So that's another cool
A little
thing
tidbit
going
there.
on. Bunch of little news going on, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
All right. So now we'll get into the main topics, our discussions. So the New York Yankees. I think it was, what day was it that the judge
Oh wait, Drew,
came
we
out with?
forgot to pick a state to report on.
Oh, right. Let's do that.
Before we get to the MLB, which is going to be action packed, we need to. So from now on, what we're thinking is Drew and I are gonna. So we're gonna pick a state, a random state, and then we're gonna report on its sports
Yep.
going on to make that as a fun highlight. Highlighting teams that we might not hear about, maybe, right? Stuff like
Yeah.
that.
That'd be hilarious if we got Washington.
I I kind of hope we do, but I also don't really want
No.
to.
I want to get a new state. But I want to get a state that has like maybe professional sports. We'll see.
Okay,
All right.
so I'm gonna share my. Can you guys see my state picker?
Yep.
Okay. So, ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
South Dakota. Are there sports teams in South Dakota?
All right, we got South Dakota. Let's
Okay,
do
we're
it.
gonna have to check that. Make sure there's a team there. I don't know if
There's
there's a team.
definitely sports there.
I hope so.
That's gonna be fun. South Dakota.
All
All
right,
right, make
South
sure to write that
Dakota.
down.
Okay, now continue, Drew.
Okay, yeah. After we got our South Dakota fix in, we're first gonna talk about the MLB. The Yankees recently, a judge just appointed the Yankees to open up an unsealed document that might incriminate them for sign stealing allegations. These allegations would be due to in 2015. They kind of came under heat about using using technology such as cameras to kind of cheat their way into like knowing the pitches. They also did this in 2016, and in 2017 they got fined for misusing a bullpen um, phone. So I thought that was pretty funny. But I want to make this I want to make this clear because I think what happened was in 2017, the MLB came down and was like, you guys cannot use technology or cameras, right? So what the Yankees were doing, and I'm not condoning this, but what the Yankees were doing in 2015 and 2016 wasn't wasn't illegal. Everybody was doing it. I think what happened was in 2017, the whole scandal with the Boston Red Sox and the Apple Watches,
Yeah.
that's when the MLB put their foot down, and that kind of shifted. Okay, we can't use technology to to steal signs.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think, and we'll talk more about this. But I don't know. I think what Manfred, which is the MLB commissioner, if what he wrote to the Yankees in 2015 says like that, okay, I, dear Yankees, um, we know you were stealing signs, but we will not penalize you. We will only fine you for you misusing the phone. That will look really, really bad, and that will look really, really bad. But if that doesn't happen, and it's just we're gonna fine you for phone use, then this is nothing to worry about. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be very interesting if the letter
Yeah,
gets open.
it's a weird thing. We were doing research, and so one cool fact actually. So the UPS viewers, the judge of New York, who's in charge of this court case,
Mm-hmm.
is Judge Rakoff, who actually came to UPS to speak. We both watched him and listened to him. So
Oh yeah.
UPS viewers, that's kind of just a cool fact. He's actually a real person. That's important. He's in the news.
No, that came to the.
But yeah, I mean, it's weird because this lawsuit was filed by someone who was sports betting, right? He bet
Right.
on the Yankees, I think, or I
Right.
mean, a Yankees related thing. And he filed a motion to open. So this has been an open court case for a while, but the judge has kind of, said, you don't need to open this letter. But finally, he agreed to open the letter. That's why this news is, coming back, because this is from 2017, like you said.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see, if the letter will have anything, because it sounds like the letter is not going to be as important, but we have no idea until they open it. But
Yeah.
I mean, for now, we know that the commissioner fined both the Red Sox and Yankees and sent them letters. But again, we don't know, because I'm sure the MLB did an investigation, so maybe it'll have more on the investigation. So we have no idea, but it does bring again the scandal back.
Exactly, and it's also interesting because the Yankees do not want this letter to be opened. They said that this would bring significant reputational injury to the organization. So this could be a huge thing. This could be like what if the MLB is covering up the Yankees just because they are the Yankees, they are the Bronx?
Well, see, I think from a marketing PR standpoint, they just want this scandal to be. They don't want it to be talked about anymore. And opening the letter would just continue the conversation. Yeah. I think they want the conversation to end. That's why they don't want it to open.
This is what is so funny about the MLB. Why is it that they have these unsealed letters? So the MLB commissioner does an investigation, sends the letter to the clubhouse. The clubhouse reads it, and then the commissioner says you have to seal it up, and nobody else can read it. So they're kind of just closed doors. It's very, very secretive. And I think
it's confidential, so it's not supposed to go to the public.
That's true, but
that's why the judge has to open it technically.
Yeah, I get that, but like I feel like there won't be anything that will happen to this because I feel like
Well, I
Memphis.
think one of the reasons why the Yankees are really careful is because they were very critical of the Astros and Red Sox for cheating.
Hmm.
Like Cecil
Yeah,
Sabathia and I think Aaron
Aaron
Judge are
Judge.
kind of the vocal speakers of saying that's not okay. But I mean, we don't know because the whole misuse
Yeah,
of the bullpen phone too. I think it wasn't like they were stealing signs. It was more like, was it a strike or was it a
yeah.
ball? So it's
I
like
think you're right.
not
It
as
wasn't that
bad
big.
as what we think of it. But again, it's still misuse of technology.
Yeah,
Um,
but what we can all agree on is that the Astros were the ones that did the worst cheating.
yeah,
They,
yeah,
Boston the Red Sox to a lesser extent did it, right? We can agree that it was
yeah,
lesser. Like
yeah,
they did cheat, but what the Astros did was took it over and like cheated in 2017 to 2018. Had configured these making noises on the trash can. Like they
yeah.
went out of their way, and everybody knew about it.
Yeah. So, I
So,
mean, what's crazy is, well, it'll be interesting to see what other teams are going to be a part of this problem.
mhm,
And
yeah,
I guess, yeah, then the question is like what to do with all the championships, what to do with players, how do you find people, because there's no
yeah,
like, I'm pretty sure there's no like rule set in about like, oh, if a coach does this, they're going to be automatically fined for a year. Manfred made that all up on a fly for AJ Hinch and Alex Cora. So pretty soon they're going to have to think of, actual
yeah.
punishments rather than thinking on the fly.
Well, why don't you just strip the championships? Why don't you just strip the Astros World Series and then
Well,
I don't know why you can't do that.
um,
Because they cheated out the Dodgers and the whole on their fan base in general. They knew what the pitches were going to be. I think it.
yeah, it's, I mean,
So
yeah, it's
okay,
obvious.
so
It's
here's this then. Here's what I'm thinking. So the Astros players got immunity. They did not get fined. They did not get anything. They still
yeah,
have everything. Um, what's to say that players can just like I mean I don't know. I feel like this was a slap on the wrist that the commissioner put down for the Astros, and now it's a trickle down effect. Now you have Boston coming out
yeah,
with it. Now you have the Yankees to come out with it. You obviously can't do anything more severe than what you already placed for the Astros. So it's
hmm,
just going to be even less, which is
that's a good point. Yeah,
it's just I don't know. Also, Jose Altuve won the MVP in 2017. That's when they were cheating. I think that should be. I don't know. That should definitely
yeah.
be
I
revoked.
mean, it's just overall, it's just a bad.
It's
It's not good as an
bad publicity.
organization. Or I mean, obviously reflects on now everyone's gonna hate Jose Altuve. Even though he was one of my favorite second basemen, but now everyone's not gonna like him. No one
Well,
likes Alex Bregman now, but he
he had
was
a
pretty
buzzer.
good too. You know,
Yeah,
everyone hates
I thought.
Carlos Correa for lying on TV that they did nothing now.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny that the Astros players were so quick to social media. I mean, you still did it. You still cheated. It's not like
Yeah, I
you
mean, it's
didn't.
just an organizational like, because wasn't the algorithm made by like some intern, or
Yeah,
was that a rumor?
I think it was
Like
the
who allows that in an organization? That's just bad baseball operations. I know the GM got fired and AJ Hinch got fired,
no,
but
it
like
is
they
no,
should just I like that's
yeah,
it's just an organizational ethical like wait, who let that go even if intern made that, who let that go through? Like,
yeah.
that's the other.
I I also think it's just because the Astros were so terrible before. I think it was 2014, maybe it was
Yeah, I mean,
2015.
yeah,
They
they
were
were still
so
kind of
they
like a new rebuilding team.
and then you just saw them come out of nowhere, and we find
Well, it's
out
not true.
later.
They had some good players,
They did have good players, but
but
why when you have these young guys, why go the extra step to cheat your way through when you can just I don't know.
yeah, I
It
see
surprised
that
me.
again. That's like an organizational issue, right?
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
it's more than just the players and the coach. It's an organization.
Yeah.
It's the business standpoint. Like it's
I don't know. Altogether,
not
the
good for the
MLB has
game.
not had a good run. I think we can all agree on that. The Oakland
No.
Athletics are did a furloughed their employees,
Mm-hmm.
so that's not great. And then the MLB cuts the draft to 5 rounds, limiting
Mm-hmm.
if players can even play or be drafted. Yeah, just and then now the MLB might not even restart. It's like they're having difficulties with starting the season.
Yeah, I mean, like recently,
Um,
so I mean, the MLB Players Association, who's run by Tony Clark, who used to be a former Diamondback player, but I mean, they've been having conversations with MLB to, because it's a MLBPA is like the union, right? So they
mhm.
need to make sure like they represent the players as agents and the contracts and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
they're trying to agree, but it's hard because I mean, baseball's technically what 2 months into the season already.
yeah, they
Would be
definitely
right.
didn't get they didn't get any slack on that. That's
No,
for
and
sure.
yeah, and they keep offering, prorated contracts and how many games and stuff, but I I don't know if the MLB season's gonna. I mean, and it might just not happen this year, which is unfortunate. But they can't come to an agreement. They've been,
Well,
talking for so long.
yeah. So what the issue is that players want 100% prorated salaries,
Right.
um, and then the owners want. I think they came back. The latest offer was 72 games with 80% prorated salaries, which is around 48 games prorated that you're paying for, fully prorated. Um, I don't know. It's crazy what's going on now, and I think this is also can be said that the players do want to play now. Um, and a lot of these players aren't making millions, some just because the MLB is
Yeah.
so wide scope that
Yeah.
a lot of these players need the money, especially minor
Mhm.
league players. So I definitely think something needs to come to
I
pass, but
think.
I don't think anything's going to happen.
Yeah, I think the other issues, major league rosters are huge.
Yeah,
NBA rosters, half or a third,
13 players. I
right? But
know they're
like,
going to
so
implement
like the
17 this
NBA
year, but
restarting is easy because I mean, not easy, but they're going to one location, obviously for
yeah.
COVID-19 safety reasons, but it's like half the amount of people, compared to the
Yeah.
MLB teams. So it's really, I think the best solution for MLB is to pay paid time leave to the players and just
Mhm.
not play this year. Just eat the cost. It's not even
I
how much money you're going to make too, even if you restart without fans,
So yeah, this
you
is the
know?
biggest. This is another issue though. The CBA collective bargaining agreement ends next year, and the CBA is
Ooh.
basically player salaries, revenue, who gets all that. So that's like the big contracts, and next year their CBA expires and they have to do a new one. So
Huh.
this means MLB players and owners have to work together to come to an agreement, which we've seen now is impossible because it's a smaller thing. They can't even start the season. Um, so we'll see what happens. There's definitely going to be baseball played because in this CBA that's about to expire,
Hmm.
the commissioner has the authority to set the schedule and play 48 games fully prorated. Um,
Hmm.
so there'll definitely be baseball, but there's also this issue that it's very public news, and now there's a huge divide, and it's just becoming worse and worse, which is not
Yeah.
great.
Huh. Well, we'll monitor the situation because it doesn't seem like it's ever going to end.
Yeah, I think they should do like a salary cap or something. I know it's tough, but I mean,
And
it's easier if you have a salary cap because then you can start the season. I mean, now there's going to be you're not gonna have to pay these guys 130 million. And I don't know. It's tough. They're in a tough situation right now because if you do implement a salary cap, you have to rework all of the contracts, and that's
yeah.
just too tough.
Yeah,
But I
I
think the
mean, we'll
players
come
want
back to this.
baseball.
We have no idea how it's going to end at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it could end up like the NBA 2011 lockout.
I'm starting to lean more towards it being a lockout.
But that
Um,
means players don't get paid, owners don't get paid,
I
fans
think
don't get baseball.
it might, that's the reality we're facing here, I think.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so NBA is going to restart. Do you want to go through the structure,
Yeah.
kind of
Um,
how it's going to shape out?
yeah. So 22 teams out of the 30 are going to go to Orlando, Florida, to the Disney World site. And then they're going to play 8 regular season games to kind of adjust the last minute seedings, so they can't go straight into the playoffs, just to give some teams some chances. All the teams that are in, so in the East there are 9 teams: the Bucks, Raptors, Celtics, Heat, Pacers, Sixers, Nets, Magic, Wizards. And then The West, Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Jazz, Thunder, Rockets, Mavericks, Grizzlies, Blazers, Pelicans, Kings, Spurs, and Suns. So the West, there's more teams because it's just the way the standings are. They're doing the best 22 teams, right? I think. Um, but yeah, so the West is competitive on who's going to
Definitely.
make the 8th seed.
And the eighth seed has a buy-in game, right? Or a playing game.
Yeah. Let's see.
So
Okay. So I think how it works is, so uh, if the team in 8th place is 4 games or fewer ahead of the 9th place, it requires a play-in with the ninth
okay,
place team.
that
Right.
is
So they play
actually
2
really
games, or they're supposed to play 2 games. So if 8th place needs to only win once out of those
okay.
2, while the 9th place needs to win back to back.
I kind of like that format.
I
I
think it
think
makes it interesting. I mean, especially
yeah,
for the West. Definitely for the
especially for the
West.
West. It's also interesting to note that Memphis has the toughest difficulty of schedule currently, and they're eighth right now. So, and then Portland and New Orleans have the easy remaining schedule, and they're only like 2 games, but 4 games back or something like that. So they can
Better
definitely
watch
make a
out.
move for it.
Better watch out for the Pelicans.
Oh gosh, Zion will be fun to see.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
excited. I mean, there's still quite. It's not totally set, right? I think there's still kind of things they need to talk about. Well,
yeah,
I think they need to talk to the NBA Players Association to agree.
I think so. Right now, I think they have everything worked out. I think they approved the deal, the 22 team format. But
Mm,
right now, I think players are becoming more hesitant to play just due to the
yeah,
climate and COVID, of course,
yeah,
being such a prominent role. Like, I mean, there's definitely a real possibility that even though the format is in place, teams might not have it might not work out just because of what's going on.
yeah.
Um, I know LeBron is a big advocate for starting up basketball again. Um, maybe because he wants a chance to win another.
Yeah, I mean, they have a legitimate chance to
They
win
do have it. Yeah,
again. Um,
it is interesting. There's definitely different people and different advocates for what. But we'll see. I mean, Kyrie is a big advocate for not starting the season.
yeah, and he's not one just that he doesn't want to play. He doesn't want the whole league to play.
Exactly.
And one of the cool things about the NBA, what they're doing is they're giving an opt out without penalty.
Yeah.
So if LeBron James wanted to just suddenly say, I don't want to play in Florida, he could totally do that and he would not get any backlash except from the fans. And
Yeah.
maybe his teammates, but like he would not get fined. There's nothing that they can do, which is good because obviously mostly this is from COVID-19 when they were planning
Of
this.
course. Yeah.
But now there's, this movement for fixing racial injustice and Black
Hmm.
Lives Matter movement, which
Yeah.
plays in really well with this. So if Kyrie, because especially Kyrie is the one, he's saying he doesn't want to play during this time because of this movement, which I guess kind of came in while the NBA was already, doing this restructure. So it works well that it gives players an opt out if they want to, if they really believe that it's wrong for the
Yeah.
NBA to continue. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of an unexpected way that the NBA is helping them from that perspective.
That is true. I know Carmelo spoke on this, and I think what he wants is unity amongst the whole NBA. So
Mm-hmm.
if the NBA decides to move on and play, he wants everybody to be on board with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if people want to back out, he wants everybody. So that sense of unity. But then he and CJ McCollum also talked about the financial backlash that this could face. Just throwing out some numbers I found on Twitter was that $1.2 billion in salaries, player salaries, will be lost if they don't play. And then 2 billion in revenue from the whole league if they don't play.
Oh, really? Wow.
So, and then the owners have a clause in the CBA that they can use a force majeure, which is basically tearing up the CBA, and they would have to start back from zero, just because this will definitely affect player salaries, and players could definitely lose out next year on money, especially the guaranteed money.
Mm-hmm.
So there's also that kind of instance, like players want to play and some players don't want to play, but if the NBA chooses not to play, you're going to see some of that financial backlash and players not getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
I know that could be a big issue too, especially since Austin Rivers talked about how he can use the money and his platform to
Yeah.
like help communities.
Yeah, I really like what he had to say. I
Yeah,
mean, he was kind of going after Kyrie because Kyrie doesn't want the whole league to start. But Austin Rivers, what he's saying is, some people can't afford to not get. I mean, they could go out, I'm sure, go off fine because they're, NBA players. But if they
yeah,
don't have an income, yeah, they can't help support the movement. They can't donate money. Um, I mean, I'm not going to say that they need their salary. I'm sure they have enough income built already, probably, but still, like having an extra income is an important part of what you do as as a person. Then you're right. Like Austin Rivers said, Kyrie, we don't make millions like you do. Not everyone does.
hmm,
So he kind of thought Kyrie was being selfish in that, saying the whole league should not play. Because even though there's that opt out, Kyrie could have just said, "I'm not going to play," other than saying the whole NBA shouldn't play. I think that's kind
yeah.
of why Austin Rivers was pissed.
He's also not playing because he's injured.
Yeah, well,
But
he's supposed to come. He might be healthy
no,
enough to. Oh, he's not.
I think him
Oh,
and
see.
Katie are gonna take it off a year.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Well,
don't
then
even
that's
think they're
another
in the.
reason why
Are they even in the?
they're in.
They're in. Okay.
That's why KD not returning is a big deal, big blow for them. And if Kyrie doesn't come back, then that's a huge blow. Just more time for
Do you?
Dinwiddie to.
What do you think? Do you think this season will get an asterisk, the championship,
Will the
because it's
season
so
get an
weird?
asterisk?
Like, will the champion kind of will it be like an asterisk when you go
Oh,
back in
oh.
time?
I mean, I'm sure there will be, but I think it doesn't denote that you still won as a champion.
I think it's even harder to win this year, honestly. Because if you think about it, people
Well,
you play with more rest, right? People are getting healthy, so more rest, healthy, and there's more chances for players to get in. There's more chances to make a run. I
yeah, but I mean, when you think about economics, there's always trade-offs. Kind of the way that I see it is, this is an opportunity for people to rest really well,
hmm
get healthy.
hmm
This is also an opportunity for people to get lazy. And also the
yeah,
hard thing is if you don't have access to, and brings up another good point about Austin Rivers. If you don't have the money, if you don't have a basketball gym in in your basement, like I'm sure LeBron or somebody does, where
yeah,
where are you going to go train during this
yeah,
quarantine? You know?
yeah. And I also think that's why having those seed-in games or the playing games,
Yeah,
and also they'll have workout, they'll have training camps up
yeah,
to it.
yeah.
But I think you're all right. There's definitely a possibility that people will be
Yeah.
rusty, and we will see that.
And even then, with like the NBA lockout, like when people came back, some people got injured easily. It's because
Mm,
they're rushing things. So that's another issue. So the way that I see it is, the older somebody is, the more time they need to quickly, get healthier, or not healthier, but match fitness.
yeah,
But if you're younger, I mean, when you were 15, did you stretch before basketball games? Probably not. But now you need to because we're older and our backs are getting tight, right? So that's
yeah.
another issue.
It's
So
also
it's like
interesting to
there's
note.
a good trade off. Like LeBron could rest for 2 months now, but he
Yeah,
also might not be quite as 100% fitness. He could be 80% because he's could do home workouts, but is he 100? You never know.
yeah. And game action is definitely something.
Yeah, it's different. You
Um,
can't do that. You can't
but
replicate that.
I do think I don't know. I think it will be tougher just because everybody is healthy. Going back to that, um, and I think people want to stay in this as long as possible because it is new, and it is like something that would be okay. We're gonna be. It's kind of like an exclusive like tournament.
Hmm.
You're in one arena,
Yeah,
and you want to stay in. It's kind of like back to AAU where it's like I'm gonna be in this tournament for the weekend, and I'm only
yeah,
gonna play at one spot.
yeah,
And then the whole fan experience is definitely going to be something to look for. No fans probably for the next year as well.
yeah.
That will definitely hit revenue more.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be an
I
interesting
mean, if
time.
this all
I
happens,
want
I'm excited.
basketball. Yeah, I want
I'm really excited
basketball.
because if you think about it, these teams might be the healthiest they've ever been and the most competitive they've ever been.
Hmm.
Like the Lakers, like AD was struggling, not struggling, but he had like a minor injury. That should be fine. Ben
Yeah,
Simmons is going to be back for the Sixers. The Grizzlies are going to have everyone back almost.
exactly. So
Pretty
that's
quick.
what
They're
I'm
going to have
saying. It could be
Winslow
tougher.
back, Jaren Jackson back. Looking at the other teams. What are the teams that had major injuries?
Didn't well, Chris Middleton will be fully healthy and
Yeah,
get 30
yeah. See,
points.
it's all of these like big stars or brink
Yeah,
of all-star players that they're going to be healthy, and it'll be exciting to see um, how they compete. And I don't know, a lot of these teams. I think like the Magic, Evan Fournier was slightly injured.
Well,
But
I also think this could lead to something new too. I think playing games have not been seen by the NBA, but I think this is a really cool um,
yeah, this is
process. And
like this is kind of how we think about the wild card in the MLB, right?
yeah,
I mean, not the
ex-
same format where you have to win back to back, but the fourth and like what so the second and third of the wild card have to play in for the second, right?
for the
Or wait,
yes,
yeah,
I think it's I,
right. Was that
I
right?
think it's second and third playing for one game.
Right, right, right.
But I do think it's interesting, and I really like it, and I hope it works. Please work, because I want to see it happen. I want to see it implemented in the
Yeah,
next year's season.
yeah,
So then NFL season is far away still. Training camps are supposed to start, I think, next month, but
yeah.
that might not happen. We'll see what happens. I think right now, talking about it, I think we're a little bit too far out to speculate.
Mm-hmm,
They still have to figure out a lot of stuff. I think
mm-hmm,
I think hockey has done a really good job of doing safety measures. I think
mm-hmm,
the MLB has safety measures in place.
mm-hmm.
It just comes down to money for them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Football has tons of people.
Yeah, that's the other
There's
thing. Like even if you try to like have one or two, remote stadiums. So what the MLS, they're
mm,
opening up soon. They're doing like one. I think they're only going to be in I forgot I think I want to say Arizona, but I could be wrong. But they're going to be like one state,
okay,
with like a couple fields where all the teams will play on, right? And they're going to have
right.
it kind of like a tournament style too. But yeah, with NFL, it's a huge. I mean, it's almost double. It's like the MLB size roster, right? Or maybe bigger.
I think it's 52, maybe
So that's
48.
another thing. Yeah, if you like
52
try
players. Yeah,
to do one state or one city only, it's going to be really hard with that many people.
yeah,
And again, a racial injustice issue could be brought up again, like the NBA. So who knows? But again, their season is not supposed to start till September, so
that
they
is
have a little bit
true.
more time. It's not like the MLB where it's mid-season. NBA it's mid-season.
Yeah, I do think. I mean, I think what they proposed is that they'll cut the preseason down to 2 games, which be
Yeah, I
good.
think
Just less.
they might have to move training back, summer camps. I don't
Yeah,
know if they can start this soon.
it's a whole because this is like a very precise thing, and
Hmm.
you don't forecast a pandemic to last like what 5 months, 4 months, 6 months. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, you can kind of schedule something that will last maybe a month, but
Hmm.
this has been going on. I mean, and there might be another second wave.
Yeah.
So
But I think this is also good practice for sports teams
mm,
because I don't think anything this big has hit the U.S. for a while.
no, yeah, I don't think
So I think this is really good practice I mean, we need to be cautious. Um, this might change fans and stadiums forever. I don't know how, if they
yeah,
do full capacity ever in the future. You never know. Who
it
knows?
it will
This could all
definitely be
be. We
interesting.
might all be watching games on live streams from now. I don't know,
No,
but
no,
I
there's
mean, I
no
hope
way they
not.
can
But
sustain
you
that.
never know. Um,
Especially since I'm moving to Colorado, I want to see my first NBA game in a
yes,
while.
I think a Nuggets game
Um,
would be fun.
okay, yeah. So just wrapping it up, the MLB is in limbo. The NBA might come back soon. We'll see what happens in the next few days. The NFL season is on the horizon. Thanks for joining. We'll see you guys next week. Shoots.
Peace.